for Donny.
Grip apartment for Donny.
Go for Donny.
Wardrobe for Donny.
Go for Donny.
Life for Donny. Go for Donny.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Mike Duffy on the show today. Holy shitballs, Mike Duffy. So good to see your face. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. So good to see your face too, even though we're in the same neighborhood. We're on a remote connection.
I know, dude. We were just talking about that. Isn't it a shame, like when you live so close to people, but you never see them? Not even running into the store. I mean, you know what? I need to switch up my stores and go to the right store so that way I can run into you guys.
It's weird. I don't. Yeah, it's shocking to me that I haven't seen either one of you in the neighborhood. It's not that big of a neighborhood, and it's unlike many parts of Los Angeles. It's an actual neighborhood.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, people stay in their neighborhood. We don't leave our neighborhood. But hey, guys, before we get into it, don't forget to stay tuned for Switch to Channel 2, where I get to ask Mike just a few more questions so we can get to know Mike a little better. So your listeners, my audience, gets to know who Mike Duffy is. So I want to jump back into it because we've known each other for over 20 years, I think.
Yeah.
It goes back to when I worked at MTV2 Development years ago, and you were at Painless Productions. I think that's when we made our first connection.
That's right. Yep. Working, it was my first development job, working at Painless Productions with Jim Casey and making, they did dog shows at the time, and I came in and we started playing around. We did a thing called Stupid Ways to Die over at MTV.
That's right. Shit, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That jogged my memory.
The precursor to 1,000 Ways to Die, which we didn't have anything to do with, but still a great idea.
Oh my God, that is so fucking cool. I didn't know that. But before we get into it, I just want everyone to know about you. And I mean, since the last time I've seen you, you've been up to just a little bit. Let me scroll here. It says Emmy-winning, not just Emmy-winning, Emmy freaking winning, and James Beard nominated creator, director, writer, producer. And now you're the co-founder with your brother for YumCrunch as well.
Yeah.
You're co-founder of Ugly Brothers Studios. I think you won a few Emmys with Ugly Brothers as well.
Yeah.
Am I correct? Oh my gosh, Mike, what the hell, dude? You're like, you're making it. This is what I love. I actually had, who'd I have on? I think I had Justin Tucker on. We worked, I'm sure you know Tuck. We worked together.
Tucker's one of my old buddies. He's an OG.
So, you work with someone like that. And years ago, we worked on Duck Dynasty. And then we were just talking about where we go and where we've been since the last time we worked with each other. It's so cool seeing friends and colleagues and how well everyone's done. So it's really awesome to see that. So kudos to you.
Thanks, man. We're jack of all trades, master of some is what I call all of us who came up in Unscripted. We had to create a new category of entertainment, and then basically figure it out on every episode of every series we ever worked on. And that's an unbelievably unique skill set that applies to so many other facets of life. And as we've seen the entertainment industry really evolving and changing, and some would say really, collapsing in many ways, I see nothing but opportunity because of the background that all of us have in creating something from nothing. That's what unscripted television is. You don't start with a script, you start with real humans. And I think that, that says a lot about the folks who succeeded during the best of times in those, years where unscripted was really thriving. And, I think about our ability to adapt to the new forms of storytelling that are available to us in social media and, in entertainment, sort of as it stretches out into whatever it's meant to become from this point forward. So it's a unique background that all of us have. I think, unites us like veterans from a war.
No, so true. I mean, I feel the same when I talk to some of you guys like you from 20 years. And it's the same feeling as I get when I talk to one of my old Army buddies, because you're back in the trenches back in the day and you're, doing some shit TV and, just like in the military, you're doing shit stuff, but like we call them embrace the shit together, basically. what does it suck? Embraces suck. Embraces suck.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool going back and like, talking about that with you guys because it's we all had to do that. And, truth be told, all of those crazy stories from reality TV and the shit that I've done back in the day spawned what I'm doing with this podcast right now. Just telling some stupid stories from, the stuff that we used to do and hopefully future stories as well. So, but you're right. The landscape's changing and hopefully, we're all doing the right thing with, the direction it's going. So I'll just make sure I follow in your footsteps and then success will happen. Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think that if you're, telling good stories, then there's always going to be an audience, and you never know which stories really start to pop and resonate. So, I feel like there's less of a barrier to our audiences than ever before in media history. And like you're doing with this podcast, if you can just access the available technology and just start telling stories, there's no better road. It's just get after it, just start telling stories. And I think that the audiences will sort of react to that. And I'm excited to be on your podcast and to see you after these many years, and see you applying all of this madness that I think we all went through and survived, and here we are on the other side, kind of applying the lessons that we've learned.
Totally. And the show, I mean, just so everyone knows, it's not about just fun stories. It can be about crazy or shitty or amazing stories where you'd be like, what the hell? How did that just happen? And it relates back to, obviously what's on screen, but we have just so many of them. And when I was setting up, actually, it was earlier when I was going over your bio and I looked at Painless and I'm like, oh shit, Painless Productions, right down the street where it was, right next to 10 Degrees.
Yeah.
And it brought me back to my days at MTV2 and the stupid shit we did there. And one of the shows, my first show after leaving development, my first production show for MTV, it was called Suburban Virgin. And it was a show about trying to get virgins laid.
Hold on. Let me guess. It's a show about trying to get virgins laid.
No, you're so wrong. It's a show about trying to get the virgins laid. Yes.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, it was so stupid. It was so, I don't know, it felt kind of gross. I mean, we took a kid to a strip club and clearly the kid was not into it, getting these lap dances and stuff. We had one kid that, I think he was not into who we were trying to set him up with. Maybe he was into the other sex.
Yeah.
Out later on, but it was just a weird show. And I'm just like, what the hell? Like, really? This is reality TV? And I think back to it, I'm like, I can't believe we did a show about trying to get people laid.
But here's the thing, reality TV back then, what we would do is we would look at, things that popped up in culture and in entertainment and go, well, what's the reality TV version of that? So I imagine Justin Rosenblatt was your boss at the time,
JR,
right?
Yep.
Running MTV2. Ironically, he now runs a network focused on Christian storytelling and Bible, biblically themed content.
That's so awesome.
But I imagine that the inspiration for that show was 40-Year-Old Virgin, and looking at a category of humans who have remained virgins longer than they should. So hence Suburban Virgin, your take on 40-Year-Old Virgin, but the reality show.
Yeah, it was just weird. It was just one of those weird ones, and that was my first one when I left MTV. So it's a memorable one. But you think back, it's like I know you have thousands of shows on your resume that are not on your resume. To my point, where you're trying to update resumes, and you have like pages of shit, and you're just like, oh no, I can't have that. And then you start forgetting about shows that you did years ago. Except for the one that you're trying to get a virgin laid. So that's
some are more memorable than others, for sure.
Yeah. But it's not like hardcore hip hop. Oh, I know. We were talking hip hop. I know you got some hip hop stories. But I'm going to throw one to you. Actually, I got a few. So this rapper Chief Keef, hardcore rapper out of Chicago, right? I did a few of his music videos. One of them where I played an orderly. I was on camera and I had to throw him in everything. But anyway, so his before the shoot, the producer tells me, hey, there's someone that's going to stop by your place to get some money. So I think they wired me some money, and I was supposed to give it to him for some wardrobe. And I was thinking, oh, it's someone for wardrobe. Okay. So producer calls me. He's like, hey, dude's outside. I'm like, okay. So I look outside and I'm like, what? Who's this? It was his cousin, his Chief Keef's cousin. His name was Blood Money. And I kid you not, under this eye was blood, and under this eye was tattooed money. And so, he wanted the money. So I gave him the money. And then he was like, hey, you know where I can, get some weed around here? And I'm like, oh, I know, I can hook you up. No problem. So I go inside.
You've come to the right place.
Yeah, I know that. So I took him down to a dispensary, and got him an ounce and gave it to him, and he gave me right back to my place, and he was happy as could be. And I was just like, this is weird. And so we cut to the shoot. No, the next morning he calls me and he's like, hey, yo, he's like, can I get one more ounce? And I'm like, I just gave me an ounce like last night, like it's 7 o'clock. Like, holy crap. So I'm like, yeah, I hooked him up at the shoot. Like, I was his best friend. I was like the man. And it was so weird because I was with all these, Chief Keef rappers. And I don't know, it was weird. I was his best friend. And then cut to, we did one more shoot. We were supposed to go to Chicago, I think a week or two before we were going to Chicago to film a video out there with Chief Keef. Blood Money got gunned down in his car with, I think, his cousin. Yeah. Like execution style. And so we pulled the plug and we did not go to Chicago, nor did I film anymore with Chief Keef. So
yeah, well,
I mean,
R.I.P. Chief Keef.
Yeah, no, not Chief. Blood Money. So,
oh, my bad. R.I.P. Blood Money.
Yeah. I'd pour a little out, but this coffee is expensive. So
Yeah, exactly. Plus, he probably owes you like $1,400 for the 2 ounces of weed that you got him.
Dude, but then, wait, before you go, I got to tell you, I totally forgot. So, dude calls me. This is before he got shot and killed, by the way. So he's leaving the shoot. He's at the airport. The record label must have rented the car. He picked up the car with his license. So he calls me. He's like, I need some help. I'm like, what's up? He's like, I'm at the airport and I just left my car and I just walked inside and it's at curbside. Someone needs to go and take it back to the rental company. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I just left my car. Someone's got to come and take it. I'm like, no one can do that. I'm like, oh my God. And he's like, oh no, it's too late. He's like, in real time, he's telling me cops are pulling up and then they start searching it. He's freaking out. I'm just like, what are you thinking, man? I'm like, your name is obviously attached to this car because you rented it.
Yeah.
And he freaked out. And then I think that was the last time I talked to him. I think he left. I don't think they got him. He got on the plane and left. But he left his car at curbside.
Yeah.
That was just bizarre. Blood Money.
Listen, man, that's hip hop, bro.
Yeah.
They're living on the edge. It's a wild west. You turn around. There's a gunfight over here. Another one leaves his horse, parked at curbside. It's just the wild west with a different,
No valet.
set of attire.
It was crazy.
Yeah, there's no valet. There's no valet.
No. Those dudes curbside are taking your bags. They're not taking your car.
Except for, that time. Somebody took the car.
Man, gotta love it. So, see, that's my brush with the hip hop world.
Dude, it's so funny talking about reality TV, and there was this sort of like whole genre of shows that were focused on hip hop. Of course, we know about growing up hip hop, and even the Snoop Dogg show that just even aired, recently. I believe it was on E. But we forget that, sort of back in the day, we were all just looking for these bigger than life characters. And at the time I was working at RDF. I had just come in and, I was coming in, I think, as like a vice president of development at RDF. And RDF did shows like Wife Swap, Don't Forget the Lyrics, it was a British owned company, and they were prolific. I mean, one of the biggest production companies in the world at the time. And they had really spearheaded unscripted storytelling from the UK and brought a lot of formats over to the US. So I come in, I'm the new guy. And Beth Greenwald says to me, hey, I sold this show. It's called Coolio and the Gang. Our boss wants you to run current on it, So I came in, I was excited about this. I'd sort of known Coolio's music to a degree from the 90s, from those fantastic
Slide,
voyages.
slide, hippity hop. Yeah. Yep, yep.
And he had like the braids on top. So I was actually pretty stoked. So, I end up kind of getting introduced to Coolio, go over to his house, meet his kids. It was called Coolio and the Gang, so it was a reality show about him and his family. Basically, he had 5 or 6 kids, and he was shall we say a dad who had unconventional parenting techniques, right? So I go over, I meet him at his house. He lives over in Baldwin Hills at the time. I'm driving around the neighborhood looking for his address. Of course, I see a purple Hummer parked on the street. I go, all right, well, that's Coolio's house. So I go up to the gate, press the buttons, nothing works. So I'm like, hey, hello? Uh, hey, Mike Duffy for Coolio? Anyway, one of his kids comes out, says, "What's up, man?" He opens up the gate. He's like, "Come on in." So I walk in, and there's dogs everywhere, and just the house is full of weed smoke. And sure enough, I hear, "Hey!" And there's Coolio out in the back. So I go over. We sit down. I tell him I'm going to be his current executive. We actually hit it off. I actually really, really enjoyed meeting him and sort of meeting his kids and everything. I would look around and I'm like, all right, we're gonna have to make over the interior of his home. It was, completely, destroyed. But what I got from Coolio was that he cared about his kids and he was connected to them. And I thought, okay, that's a through line for this show that I can really grab onto. So I left that night. And a couple days later, the announcement for the show comes out. In the Hollywood Reporter, it says Coolio and the Gang greenlit by Oxygen at the time, a cable network, part of the NBC Universal group. And you know, I'm getting emails. Oh, that's so cool. They listed me as a executive producer. Anyway, all of a sudden, I'm riding high. I'm like, this is my first show with this new company. It's going to be great. It's Coolio and the Gang, and it's perfect, right? Sure enough, my phone rings. It's Kristen Connolly Vadas, who's our network executive at the time, and she goes, "Hey, have you been to CoolioandTheGang.com?" And I go, "No, I didn't even know there was a website." She goes, "Go to it right now." Okay, my God, she's panicked. Pull up CoolioandTheGang.com, and there is Coolio. His face takes up a good third of the screen, and all around him is a gangbang. He was selling a DVD
What?
called Coolio and the Gang that he had clearly pre-orchestrated to drop on the website around the time the show gets announced.
Oh my gosh.
And she goes, "Do you see what I see?" I go, "Oh my God,
You're
I
like,
did
what?
not." She goes, "Take this down right now." And I go, "All right." So I call Coolio, and he goes, "What's up, man? You see all this press?" And I go, "Yeah, but
Yeah.
hold on, dude. What the fuck? I just went to CoolioandTheGang.com, and it's your face in front of a gangbang. There's a dude getting head right behind you. Are you insane? What are you thinking?" And he goes, "Man, I don't know what you're talking about. That had nothing to do with me." I go, "Coolio, it has nothing to do with you. You're telling me that some porn producer magically knew about you having a television show called Coolio and the Gang, bought the domain, made a porno featuring you, but it has nothing to do with you." He goes, "Man, I don't even know what you're talking about." And I go, "Okay, Coolio, listen, man, you need to take this down right now. You have a television series that was just announced, and this network, if anyone sees this website, your show's canceled."
That was Oxygen, right? Oxygen?
It was Oxygen,
Oh, even better. Yeah. Yeah.
the women's network.
Yeah.
You got to take it down, man. So anyway, he goes, "I don't know what you're talking about." I go, "All right, listen, whatever you say, but Coolio, it needs to be down like now." So I go, "Make it happen." I hang up. Within 10 minutes, the website is down. He had taken it down, right? So I call him back and I go, "So you had nothing to do with it, huh?" And he goes, "All right, man, listen. So I got involved with these Russians.
Oh,
I owed them some money, and we decided that I would pay them back by making this video for them, and then all the proceeds would go to them.
oh my God.
And I go, and you thought that naming that gangbang porno video
That's,
after your reality show on a women's network was a good idea? And you, man, you know, I just, I owed him some money, bro. I mean, what are you gonna do?
oh my God, really? The Russians? Holy crap! And that's so amazing that you say that because I have a very large audience in Russia, in Ukraine, in India, Mexico. So it's crazy. So if anyone's listening from Russia, please, if you got any on the story, bring it my way.
Yeah, dude, send us screen grabs of
So,
if you have the DVD of Coolio and the Gang, because the show was renamed Coolio's Rules.
oh my
And
gosh.
so if anyone has the website or the Gangbang DVD, please send pictures of it.
Wow. So that's crazy, Mike. So that's like your first show as an executive producer, basically, and you're like getting thrown that shit. That's man, that's like next level.
It was next level. It was sort of, as so many times we, in reality TV and unscripted, we've been thrown this sort of pile of shit and told, make it into a hit show. And it was definitely a baptism by fire as I started this new job. Over the years I've
Jeez.
realized that we're totally defined by who we are in the
Yep.
challenging moments.
Yep.
And,
Yep. Yep.
that was
Yep.
one of those things where I was like, okay, I got to keep it together. I got to be effective here. I got to save this show. And we went on. We made a pretty good series, that was focused on him being a dad and him learning how to cook and write a cookbook, which he eventually went on and did a few, cooking videos and things like that. But, you know, rest in peace, Coolio.
R.I.P. Coolio. Man, that's crazy. I had a Mark Jacobs. I'm sure you
I
know
love
Mark.
Mark.
Yeah, he's
Sure.
great. We worked together on Paris Hilton, my new BFF, like season one. I think season one years ago. So I had him on. We were talking, and he was breaking down his time with breaking Bonaducci,
Oh,
and the evolution of that in him, and the craziness that was around there, and it's all documented. I mean, it's nuts. It's nuts what we see and have to deal with. And people. I'm sure you have a lot of family and friends still that don't understand what you do, and they think it's all glamorous. And it's just glamour, and
yeah.
it's not a bunch of shit. But man, I'm here to tell you, it's a lot more shit than glamour. That you
Yeah,
have to deal
right.
with.
Right. And that's the point, right? Is that, you know, entertainment is entertainment, so the show must go on. And
Right.
ultimately what makes its way into the frame is, what matters for the broadcast audience or for the viewing audience. But, these stories that happen behind the scenes, Julio's passed since the last time, since I worked with him. So now I can kind of tell these stories freely. And I worked with DMX as well. And, you know,
DMX.
my
Come on.
Lord, he's
Wow.
also passed, so I can tell this story freely. But, brother, it's the hip hop sort of set was a group of talent that brought, as the sort of stereotype suggests, they bring an entourage. And these guys and these girls, they would sort of, like I said earlier, the sort of wild west of it was, they were tough. Sometimes they were bullies. Sometimes, they make demands like, pay me $25,000 in cash or I'm not going to show up. And I knew this. I was doing this show called the Comedy Jam. So the Comedy Jam is on Comedy Central. It was based on a live show that was done at the Comedy Store and the Lyric Theater, and now actually tours all over the country, created by and hosted by Josh Adam Myers. And the concept of the show was that in each episode, you'd have comedians who would tell a story about, a song from their past. So like Adam Devine did All the Small Things, right? And he connected that song to when he lost his virginity. And it was a really funny show that also it was directed by Joel Gallen, who Joel is the most prolific music director. He does the Hall of Fame every year. He's directed all the great specials. He directed all the roasts for Comedy
Oh, jeez.
Central.
Oh,
He's been around a long time, and he's just unbelievably talented. So what we had was a show that was amazing comedy. We shot it at the Fonda Theater in Hollywood with the A-list comedians, Burt Kreischer, and just at the time, sort of like every great comedian was on the show. Um, and what they did was they would tell the story, and then they'd sing the song that they talked
oh,
about. And oftentimes the artist who originated the song would come out and perform with them.
oh, that's cool. That's really cool.
So we had Jay Farrow was
Oh
on
yeah,
the show.
he's
And
funny.
Jay, had come off with Saturday Night Live, and he was this amazing. He does these impressions of Barack Obama and every celebrity, right? He's just an extraordinary, I guess impressionist, or what do they
Impressionist.
call it? So he's like a Monet of comedy, and he he wanted to do "Party Up" by DMX, and Joel was like, I don't think we're going to be able to get DMX. And I said, Joel, actually, weirdly, I have a connection to DMX or X, as we like to call
Excellent.
him. And he said, well, listen, man, if you can get DMX to show up, that's going to be a real win. That's going to be a coup. So I said to Jay, I'm like, look, if you do party up, um, I can't guarantee you that DMX is going to show up. So we're going to have to rehearse it two ways. Um, Joel was into it. We said if we can get DMX, it'll be such a win. So let's do it anyway, right? So I had a connection to DMX's bodyguard. I ended up having his
Nice.
cell phone.
Nice.
His name was Spank, and
Spank.
so Spank, and so I call him. And I said, and I didn't know his name was Spank at the time. Somebody had connected me to him and said, call his bodyguard. And I call him up and I say, hey, this is Mike Duffy. A friend of mine connected me to you. We have an offer for DMX to perform on the Comedy Jam on Comedy Central with Jay Farrow. And I was told to give you a call. And he goes silent. And he goes, all right, man, listen, um, I'm going to bring it to him, but I need you to send me $25,000 in cash. And I go, man, that's not going to happen. At the time, I knew he was in some tax trouble, and I go, look, I know he needs the money, and we're good for it, and I'll give you cash, but I'm going to give you cash after he performs. Now, I knew that DMX was known for basically extorting promoters, and they'd put his name on the marquee, and the whole place would fill up, and then he'd be backstage going, I'm not going to go on until you quadruple my pay,
Wow.
right?
Wow.
And I'm like, oh my God. So I said, like, look, we're prepared for him not to perform. I said, Jay Farrow is open to this and wants to perform with him, but if he plays any games, we're just going to do it without him. He goes, all right, man. And I said, hey, man, what's your name? And he goes, yo, I'm Spank. And he goes, and you're going to thank me later. And I go, all right, Spank. So you're my point of contact. He goes, yeah, Duffy. He's like, I'm your point of contact. I go, all right, cool. Here, I need him to show up here 24 hours before we shoot the show. He's going to show up and do rehearsals with Jay so we can make sure we got it all choreographed. We put you up at this hotel in Hollywood. I know he's going to have some friends and all that. It's all good. We got you all covered. So sure enough, the deadline arrives. I'm on set, waiting for DMX to arrive, and he's a no-show. And we're shooting the show 24 hours later. So he missed rehearsal. And I call Spank. I go, hey, man, what's going on? He goes, man, we had some issues. He's like, but don't worry, brother. I got you. I was like, all right, listen, I need you to show up by 3 o'clock tomorrow so we can actually put you into the show. And you got to have a rehearsal. Like, that's, we got to make sure knows what he's going to do. He goes, I got you. Next day, sure enough, I get a call on the walkie. Um, go for Duffy.
Go for Duffy. Nice.
Uh, and the one of the security guards out front goes, "Yeah, man, I got DMX, and he's asking for Duffy, and he's only gonna come in if you come out and get him." I go, "All right, listen, no worries, I'm coming out." So I walk out, and I see a DMX, and he's got those classic silver Hartman cop sunglasses on, and I see this giant right behind him. And this giant walks in front of DMX and puts his hand on it. He goes, "You Duffy?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "I'm Spank, brother. What's up?" He's
You're
like
like,
7 feet tall.
you're like, dude, you're huge. Spank. You're
Yeah,
not Spank.
yeah. So I go, "All right, man, this is awesome. Let's do this. Super excited. Let me introduce you to Jay. I'm gonna walk you over to his trailer." Um, And I said, "Spank, you got my back, right?" He's like, "I got your back." So we go in, we walk in. I introduce Jay to DMX. I go, "All right, you doing Party Up? Hey, listen, X, you're going to come in on the second lyric, right? Because Jay's going to perform the song. And then on that second lyric, you're going to come in, you're going to surprise everybody. Nobody knows you're here." So, all right, man, that's cool. That's cool. So we set him up. I let them do their rehearsals. We go and start making the show. We ended up putting his performance as the last performance of the night of the entire series. We had a packed house, 700 people at the Fonda Theater. Energy was amazing. We had a very successful shoot week that week, and everything came down to this final performance. So at the end of the night, I get a call on the walkie. Um, it's Joel Gallen, director. He goes, "Gallen for Duffy." I go, "Hey, go for Duffy." He goes, "Yo, DMX, your boy, won't come out of his fucking trailer." And I go, "Joel, all right, man, I got this." I go, "Has anybody like gone in and said like, what's the situation?" He goes, "I don't give a fuck." He goes, "You need to go over and fucking talk to DMX." I go, "All right, Joel, first of all, slow down. We're partners. You don't need to talk to me like that. Secondly, I got it." So I go over to DMX's trailer, and it is like Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Oh man.
Remember the van full
Yeah.
of hot smoke?
Yeah.
Well, imagine that as like a Star Wagon. And there's all these producers, PAs, the talent department, the makeup department. Everybody's just standing outside watching the Star Wagon rock back and forth with smoke. You can't see through the windows. And I go, "What's going on?" I see Brian Baldinger, our talent guy, and he goes, "Dude, he won't come out." I'm like, "All right, I got this." So I go up and I knock on the window, and I see the little curtain move aside. And next thing I know, the door opens up, and this giant hand grabs me and pulls me into the Star Wagon, and it's Spank. And I go, "Spank, what the fuck, dude? What's going on?" And he goes, "It's cool, man. It's cool." And I look around. I'm like, I have 700 people waiting for him to come out, and the director's freaking out, dude. "We got to get this right. I need him now." And he goes, "Yeah, yeah, man. Just chill, just chill." And I look around the Star Wagon. Over on the right, there's a dude dressed up in a full Lakers uniform, giving another dude a haircut. I guess he's a barber Laker. I look around over here and I see, three dudes just rolling blunts. That's seemed like three dudes dedicated to rolling blunts. I look over here and there's a guy shining shoes. And then I'm like, I go to Spank. I go, "Where the fuck is X, man?" And he goes, "He's over there, man." I look over and there's a little sort of outcropping for like the makeup and hair. And I walk over and I see X looking in the mirror, and he's got bottles all around him, dude. And I go, "X, what up, man? Listen, I got the whole house ready for you, man. You ready to party up?" And he goes, "Yeah, yeah, 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 yeah." And I go, "Okay, cool. Let's do this." And he looks at me, right? And he's got those sunglasses on. And I'm not sure what he's looking at. And I'm not sure if he's really even paying attention to me. I go, "You ready, X? Let's do this, man." He grabs a bottle of Hennessy, turns around, looks at me through these sunglasses, and pounds the entire bottle of Hennessy in
Holy
front of me.
shitballs.
I hadn't seen that since some idiot in high school decided to,
Oh.
do it on a dare.
Ugh.
This guy pounds a bottle of Hennessy, and I'm thinking, okay, now he's going to be too drunk to even get on stage, right? So I go, "X, come on, man, we got to go. We got to go inside." And he just stands there, looks at me, and then turns back around and starts hyping himself up back in the mirror. And I go out to Spank, and I go, "Spank, brother, I thought you had my back, dude. I got people freaking out. I go, listen, and I peel my headphone off, and I go, you hear that? And it's Joel Gallagher going, where the fuck is DMX? So I go, Spank, come on, man, I need you. And he goes, listen, remember I said you'd thank me later? I said, yeah. He goes, all right, you're gonna thank me later. He goes, we need to pray. And I remembered DMX was a reverend. He was a preacher. And so I go, you saying we need to get like into a prayer circle? He goes, yeah, man, get it. So I go in, I go to DMX. I go, hey, X, how about we pray? Let's pray before the performance. He goes, yeah, man, I like that. I like that. He comes out. We all hold hands. Me and the guy, the Laker barber, and the shoe shine guy, and the blunt rollers. We all start holding hands, and they're passing a blunt around. And I'm thinking, I'm not smoking that shit. I'll smoke it later, but I'm not smoking that shit right now. They keep handing it to me. I'm like, I'm good. So I'm holding hands with Spank on the one side and DMX on the other. And I said, all right, let's pray, guys. Let's bring Jesus into this performance tonight. So X goes, yeah, 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 yeah. He goes, all right, all right, all right, all right, my brothers. All right, man. We climbed the mountain, and we thank you, Lord Jesus, for giving us the strength and the power to get to the top of the mountain. Because it's hard. We struggle. And when we get to the top of the mountain, we thank you. We praise Jesus for being at the top of the mountain. But then, Lord, you know this. We fall back down. And we roll down that mountain, and we're back at the base of that mountain, and we're looking at you, Lord, and we're asking for help. We need your help again to get back to the top of that mountain. So, Lord Jesus, what do? You show up and you carry us. You carry us to the top of that mountain. And Lord, you say to DMX, DMX, you are here to perform in God's name, and that's what we're here for. But we get to the top of that mountain, and then we roll back down. And we roll back down at the bottom of that mountain, and there we are again, Lord, waiting for you to pick us back up and carry. I realize he's on a fucking loop. He forgets where he is. He keeps repeating the mountaintop thing. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I go, X, hey man, we got to move this around. And we're at the top of the mountain. I go, Spank, what are you supposed to do? He goes, man, you're going to thank me later. And I just go, all right, I got to take this into my own hands. So I grab X and I grab DMX and I go, and here we are. We're at the top of the mountain. And in the name of Lord Jesus, we got 700 people in the Fonda Theater waiting for DMX to come in and perform with Jay Farrell to party up. Let's do this motherfucker! And they go, yeah! And dude, all the producers on the outside of the Star Wagon say they saw us pour out of the door. I put my headset back on. I go, Joe Gallen, I got DMX coming to Jay Farrow in 5 seconds. Are you ready? He goes, yeah, let's do this. I got him ready. I go, all right, we're there in 3, 2, 1. I push him in. I see Jay Farrow take the stage. He does the first lyric. As Jay is going up, though, DMX goes, yo, I'm coming in on the first lyric. And Jay goes, no, man, the second lyric. The second lyric. And he goes, I'll come in when I want to, motherfucker.
Oh, jeez.
Man, Donnie, Jay is an unbelievable professional. DMX is legendary for his performances. He's fired up. I am definitely fearful that he's going to fall off the stage because he's so fucked up. But instead, he comes on stage in that second lyric, joins him at the right time, blows the roof off the place. You can Google this performance, it's legendary. But DMX and Jay Farrow did the most amazing performance of Party Up. And the story behind that is so harrowing and is so indicative of what we've all been through in production. Again, the audience only saw the cameo from, DMX.
Yeah.
Jay Farrow barely knew what was going on behind the scenes, but as producers, it's our job to hide all of that and get the talent to the stage and put that show on. And it's been a metaphor for me in life ever since, where every time I feel like there is something that is impossible, a personality, a situation, a hurdle that seems, too high to surmount, a mountain that is too high to climb. I think about the fact that not only did we get DMX to perform that night, but it was the best performance of the entire series. And then Spank, to this day, leaves me voicemails saying, "What's up, my homie? You remember that shit?"
Oh, I fucking love that.
Yeah.
That's crazy, Mike. Is it? But I mean, it is. You're so true. There's so many things that we have to do behind the scenes. I can't tell you how many times things just wouldn't have happened. They wouldn't have shit to film if I didn't pull something out of my ass at the last second. I mean,
Absolutely.
way too many times. And it's almost you want that to happen because you want to test your abilities, to see how you are in adversity, the controlled chaos, which I thrive in. I'm an assistant director as well, and I just love and I have extreme ADD. So I can handle a lot of things coming at me at once, 3 different walkies. And I love that. And I love solving problems. So it happens a lot. And sometimes you're like, I'm kind of done putting out fires. I'd rather just sit back and let the shit happen as you plan it. But man, it's kind of exhilarating, especially live. When you have 700 people, probably 1,000 people waiting for you. I mean, that's a lot.
Oh my God.
That's a lot to weigh on you,
It is that, but the thing is that, we sometimes we forget that we're in show business, and show business
Yeah.
is about audience. And I love producing these kinds of shows where we have a live experience where you really only have that one shot at it. So everything that goes into it leading up to the performance or to you know, the show, it's sort of energetic, And so what I realized is that DMX, as a performer, as an artist, his process was to get crazy before his performance so he could bring all that energy to the performance itself. And it was called Party Up.
Yeah.
So he was living up to the expectations that were that was in that song. And there is that sort of like gray area. We want things to be perfect, and it's stressful when they're not. But the beauty of it is that when we are able to capture that performance, there's an energetic thing that comes through on screen that you couldn't have manufactured.
Yeah.
And it's our job to really capture all that. That's the beauty of unscripted and live performance.
That's crazy. And then I'm just sitting here thinking about some of the music videos I've done where you pull shit out of your ass, and you watch back and you remember at that exact moment, and you're like, I remember just that wouldn't have happened, or that almost didn't happen because
Right.
we didn't have X, Y, or Z. But it's kind of cool to go back and watch and see. Speaking of which, have you been in anything that you had to film? This is a random question because I've been in so many fucking things. It's crazy.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like on
Uh,
camera, yeah, like I should have my SAG card because of all the things I've been in and had to do.
it's funny. I learned early on. Um, so I was a stand-up comic. I was a regular at the Comedy Store back when they had non-paid regulars. And I came out to Los Angeles as a performer and as an actor. I did it, I did the stand-up thing for, 2 years full time, and then I realized that I wanted to be a producer. So there was this time after I stopped doing stand-up where I would produce these pilots and I would do these shows, and somebody would, say, oh, Duffy, he was an actor, or he was a stand-up, like throw him in. So, but I was never pleased with my performances, and I always was producing too, and I just didn't feel comfortable in those situations. The last time I said yes to this, I was producing a pilot with the producer Gavin Polone. He's the guy who did Curb Your Enthusiasm,
Oh, yeah.
and the actress Mimi Rogers
Yeah. I know
was
Mimi.
directing this thing. It was called 2 Minute Mysteries on Game Show Network. We had these little scripted vignettes that were mysteries, and you shoot the vignette and you'd play it back in a studio, and the contestants would have to solve the mystery based on the video that was presented to them. So it was a really cool little show. Um, well, this one day they had said, Mimi said, "Duffy, you should be in this vignette," and I was like, "I don't feel good about this," and no, you're gonna be great. You're gonna be great. Okay, and we did the line readings and all that. But on the day, again, I was show running this thing. I was nervous, and I didn't. It was I needed to access a different part of me to be on camera, and I was in my head at the time. So I'm in this scene with the lead actor next to me. We're in Gavin Pollone's Porsche. and I played a hitchhiker. And it's very close quarters. Mimi's in the back of the Porsche, like hunched down, directing.
Good director.
And not only could she was amazing. I mean, she's a prolific actress, and famously played the photographer in the Doors movie, among other performances. She's great, great person. But I couldn't remember my lines. I
Right?
was overacting.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it just was awful, awful. And when I looked at the dailies, we killed it in watching dailies. I was like, I'm awful in this. Like, as the showrunner, I would fire me. And I realized that was it. That was the last time I was going to put myself on camera. And I'm glad, because I'm much better behind the scenes and
Yep, me
supporting
too.
others. But
Yep.
what about you? Tell me about the times you've been
I
on
mean,
camera in your shows.
I'm like you. I hate. Every time I've been on camera, I feel weird. Like the lines. You're like. I mean, it could be like two things you say, and you can fuck it up.
Yeah.
And it's just a different dynamic being in front of the camera. Talking and doing that. But oh geez, I've done. I was the orderly in that music video for Chief Keef.
Nice.
Another video, I did all the driving because they wanted him driving an Aventador around downtown LA. Well, got the Aventador, but oh boy, was just not in shape to be driving. So I had to do all the driving.
Yep.
Mel B, It's a Scary World. I was a security guard that came in. And
Nice.
yeah, and then in Top Gear, I've been in several shoots. I did a lot of driving, a lot of off-camera driving that Tanner doesn't
Right.
have.
No. Right.
Of course,
Right.
of course, of course.
Non-union.
But I tried to get it in my stunt card because I was with this stunt driver, Ray Burrow, great stuntman from Texas, and we were doing a pilot down in Georgia, and I was doing some counter move on a drag strip. And so I was going backwards, probably doing about 45, 50 miles an hour while we were shooting out of the back of the Suburban while the car came at us. And so I asked if he wanted to do it. He's like, no, I trust you. He's like, go ahead, Donny, you go ahead. And so he sat in the front seat. I did it. And he looked over, he's like, oh, dang, that was pretty good, Donny. And so we got to talking more. And he's like, I'd sponsor you. He's like, all you need is the footage. And I'm like, oh, well, yeah, that's the problem. Like, there's no footage of me driving anywhere. Like, anything that I ever did driving, like, was someone else. Like, they never knew it was me driving. So
Yeah.
that never happened.
Framed you out. Yeah.
Yeah, they always like to frame me out. But isn't it
You
something?
got a face for podcasting. That's why.
Thank you. See?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
lighting and everything. But isn't it it's crazy that what you said is you couldn't get out of your head when you were showrunning and to be on camera. How
Yeah.
about these mofos that direct and they also star in the shit?
Yeah.
I mean,
Unbelievable.
how do you have the bandwidth? How do you have the bandwidth to produce, direct, and then act in it?
I don't understand it. It's I think that this is the thing, is that you can't take it lightly. It has to be your craft, and for me, it definitely was not my craft to be the on camera, talent. My craft was being behind the scenes, and I always look at it like it's this amazing, you know, sort of rare quality that, I mean, you and I know what it takes behind the scenes and what that feels like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
What it's like to direct or AD, or to, be a producer, to pull a scene off. But then for an actor to go in and sort of access the emotional space and be present as that performer, I don't understand it. The only thing I can think of is that um, there are some people who are able to just flip that switch as performers, and the Tom Cruises of the world, right? Like, I know he basically directs every one of his movies, but he hires a director to get the credit. And you just think about, some people are just born to do it, and, good for them. And thanks to them, we have amazing entertainment from, these auteurs who put themselves on the line.
Yeah. I mean, look, I can multitask, but I can't multitask like that. There's no way, having to remember shit. God, I could strangely always remember lyrics or quotes. I mean, I wish they would have put like, Shakespeare into quotes or something else that I could easily remember. But
I think
hey,
that's a huge part of it. I mean, what I found is that the actors that I have worked with, or that I know personally, you know, 90% of that skill is memorizing, you know, to the point where they can show up and perform the script without having to have line reads come out and all that stuff. It genuinely is like we think acting is about the performance and all that, and of course it is. But the number one sort of skill that I think that actors need to have, and there's plenty. Marlon Brando has there's famous stories about him sort of in The Godfather taping his lines to the chest of his scene partner, because he was like, fuck it, I'm just not going to learn the lines anymore. There's those types of things, where their talent surpasses their, lack of preparation. But my Lord, I mean, when you get in and you have to remember how the lighting and the schedule, right? Like how long do you have for this scene?
Yeah.
You got to stay on schedule. You got to get your day, right? And then you're the performer in the thing or the driver or whatever it is. You're just like, it just throws you into a tailspin.
I don't know, man. I mean, there's some talented people out there. I guess I'm not that talented. I'll stick to
You and me
podcasting.
both.
I'll stick to podcasting. Well, hey, just so you know, this is also, it's not just an audio podcast, it's a video podcast. So I have a YouTube channel. It's at Go for Donny at YouTube. But I also have a website, Mike, where I have some great little merchandise. It's all about branding. So I got some Go for Donny stuff. I got some Go for Donny hats.
Nice. Awesome. Love it.
Different colors. And then I also got some nice stickers. So I put mine on either my Pelican cases or, what have you. And you can check that out at gofordonny.com. But I just wanted to thank you, Mike, for joining me here and telling a few stories, a few fun stories. I mean, those are pretty good. Rest in peace, both Coolio and DMX. And I can't wait to see you in person sometime soon. So, but guys, stay tuned for Switch Channel 2, where we're going to get to ask Mike just a few more questions, some personal questions, to get to know him a little better.
Thank you so much, Donny.
Bro, seriously, I'm so excited that you came on, and I'm so excited to see you in person sometime soon as well.
Me too, brother.
And as my mother-in-law always says, Mike, she always says hashtag HTFU. HTFU, man. I'll tell you about it in a sec. HTFU.
Yeah, I'm excited to learn what hashtag HTFU means.
Oh, you'll know all about it. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Donny. See you soon.
Later, bro.
Bye.
Production for Donny.
Go for Donny. Locations for Donny. Go for Donny.
Habitat for Donny.
Go for Donny. Hey Donny, what the hell are they doing?